Hello, you slimy freaks, and welcome back to Venom! Yeah! Where today we're going to be having a threesome. Or the three-way. We're going to be taking a look at 3 different Venom figures here. The 3 best Venom figures ever made! Yeah! So, they're all by ToyBiz, because ToyBiz is the best company ever. You know, obviously, don't even try to argue with that. It's a fact, everybody. And so, we're doing a versus. A 3-character person versus, however you want to word this. And so, you know, of course, doing any versus, we're going to try to be objective. We're going to try to stick with the facts and ultimately decide which Venom would come out on top if they had a threesome. This isn't a microphone. This is actually just a cane. Yeah. Alright, let's do this.
Why be easy when you could just Venom?
In this corner, we have the Spider-Man Classics Venom! In this other corner, we have the Sinister Six box set Venom! And in the third corner of this awkwardly triangular-shaped arena, we have the Amazing Spider-Man Symbiote Blast Venom! Round 1, the packaging! So, for the packaging, for Sinister Six box set Venom, he comes in the Sinister Six box set big ol' box packaging. The Amazing Spider-Man Venom, whose packaging I don't have, is the Amazing Spider-Man packaging. Spider-Man Classics Venom comes in the Spider-Man Classics packaging. Round 2, the accessories! Sinister Six Venom comes with a display stand with a Venom face on it. Strangely enough, the Venom on the base has yellow teeth, whereas the figure has white teeth. It also has a tongue sticking out. It has this weird greasy black texture to it, which just is kind of weird. I don't know why it turned out like that. That's very strange. What were you doing, ToyBiz? That's weird. The only issue with it is his feet don't sit all the way flat on it. This foot sits all the way, but then his right foot or left foot, depending on what side you have here, it doesn't peg onto the base, so you can see there's a slight gap. He does stay on it. Classics Venom also comes with a display stand that you can see he just pegs onto it, and it holds his weight pretty good. As again, 2002 Marvel Entertainment, made in China, ToyBiz Worldwide 2002. And the base is excellently done. It has more paint than pretty much any Hasbro figure ever, so it's pretty nice. Unfortunately, mine is incomplete, as I only have the standing part for him to stand on. A very nice display piece, no sort of gimmick, just a thing for Venom to stand on, which is fairly solid. And the last figure we're taking a look at today, as far as accessories, is the Symbiote Blast Venom. And you guys would be pleasantly surprised to know that I don't have the accessories. I bought him used on eBay. He didn't come with his like symbiote blasters, but do not fret. I have something that could work as a substitute, sort of a replacement. That is this gun, arm cannon attachment thingy. It comes with Cyber Spider-Man, where in Venom's case, it's shaped like his head. You clip it onto his wrist, and you can shoot a character with it. And this guy here, this guy also came out in the Amazing Spider-Man wave, the same wave as Venom here. We're gonna see if the symbiote missile could take him out. Let's do this. Boom, it does work. It seems like Venom's accessory is worth it. He takes down Spider-Man, which ultimately, doesn't all villain want to take down Spider-Man? So Sinister Six Venom stands at about 18 centimeters, or 7 inches. Symbiote Blast Venom stands, again, slightly over 18 inches, and slightly over 7 inches. Spider-Man Classics Venom is also slightly under 7 inches, or about 17.5 centimeters. And here's just a quick comparison against some Spider-Man figures that were released around the time. We have Secret Identity Spider-Man, Sinister Six Spider-Man, Spider-Man Classics Black Custom Spider-Man with missile launching glider, and Cyber Spider-Man, whose gun came in handy for Venom. By the way, can this gun take out Venom? It can't, yeah. So if this guy fights Venom, he's gonna lose. So I will say, as far as the scale, honestly, all of them work pretty well. I will say this guy probably does fit in the best just because he's very monstrous. He doesn't have human proportions at all. His arms are very big and gorilla-like. He's got very muscular legs. His upper body's like very hunchback, big head. He's built very dramatically, whereas these two look relatively human compared to him. They look like big humans, whereas this thing, he looks kind of like a monster. Round 3! The paint apps and sculpt! So comparing the different head sculpts, each of their positives are pretty obvious, I would say. I think maybe the weakest one is possibly the Spider-Man Classics Venom. It might also have to do with old age, but the teeth have almost no green paint on them anymore. The eyes are kind of faded. Some of the paint on this figure looks terrible. I got this when I was like 3 or 4, so I didn't treat it with the most respect. So that's unfortunate. So just ignore any of this sort of paint chips or any loose joints this guy has. I think that between these, the best head sculpt is probably the Symbioblast Venom. You know, very stylized, angry, evil-looking eyes, big old teeth, green drool on the tongue. There's no paint and detail on it, but it's done very matte, and it looks just overall very nice. Sinister Six Venom is your more sort of like 80s style Venom, or like early 90s style Venom, where he's got no teeth, where he just has teeth, he doesn't have the tongue sticking out. He's got the big eyes, and the weird thing is, he actually has sculpted wrinkles in between his eyes. Teeth almost look kind of bloody-ish. He has like red in between his teeth. I don't know if any of them are artist specific, but they all nail the job as looking like an evil, frankly kind of scary looking Venom. Round 4! The Articulation! So if we start off with Classics Venom, his articulation on his arms is fairly limited. All the joints I showed you is all he has. Waist swivel, the head swivels, mine has a broken neck on it, but it did swivel all the way. He has these weird like hip swivels. I mean, it's useful for some poses, but admittedly, with his limited joints, you're not really going to hit the most amount of poses. He's going to just basically be in a variation of standing there with his arms and knees slightly bent, which is kind of unfortunate. But if you were to get this Venom figure, it's mostly going to be for him just to stand there on his display base. Sinister Six Venom has the most points of articulation, considering he has additional butterfly joints. He has double-jointed elbows, unlike Symbioblast Venom. Without going fully in-depth into their own articulation, I go fully in-depth into all their points of articulation in a separate video where I review them individually, but I will ultimately give you a quick recap here. Symbioblast Venom will be good for mostly just standing poses, sort of like flexing his guns and his muscles, and that's because, unfortunately, this figure, due to his gimmick that does this, that's seriously all it does. That's it. His jaw barely moves. Because of that, he has no movement in his head. And then the diaphragm joint can only do this. It's terrible. Now, of course, I did improve it so he can go forward all the way. But originally, it only does that. It barely goes forward, and it swivels. But then you also have a waist swivel, so the diaphragm joint is pretty big waist. But I will say, from the waist to the toes, he's got all the joints you want. You know, ball hinge hips with like perfect range, double jointed knees, ankle pivot, ankle hinge, toe articulation. He's got basically all the joints you'd want. The only spots where Sinister Six Venom beats him is double jointed elbows, and then the neck joint and the torso articulation. But in almost every other way, this guy wins, and especially since he maintains the aesthetic of his body very nicely, it helps a lot. You know, obviously if this guy had double jointed elbows and like an ab crunch, it would be even better. He would win hands down. But for what he has currently, he's still a fairly solid figure. And so that means we have one decision left to make.
Alright everyone, so me and the judges, who is just me, have tabulated the results and determined who is the best Venom figure. The Symbioblast Venom. Now, it wins in almost every category in the ToyBiz fashion, but I want to go out and say, you know, just because this is the versus between the 3 best Venom figures ever made, there doesn't have to be a winner, because ultimately, whatever you like is the one you're going to side with. For my personal favorite Venom, the one that I'm going to go with is all 3, because I have the option. See you next time on Venom! Yeah!